All right, welcome back to inventRightTV. This next guest that comes on has a worldwide hit. It's absolutely spectacular, and she's going to share two important tips you do not want to miss. So please watch this video. All right, Stephen Key here, and today I've got something really special. I love this product. I saw it. I loved it because as a kid, I played with this particular product a little bit, but not like this. And we have someone that's truly amazing that's going to talk about how they launched this amazing product called Freak Marbles. So, Amy Holden, thank you for coming on inventRightTV.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Where do you live?
I live in Barcelona in Spain.
Fantastic. All right. And you have a company. What's the name of your company?
World Alive.
World Alive. Okay, great. So it's a toy company, correct? Although it kind of does a couple different things, but it's really a toy company.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've got a great product that I saw because I was a big marble collector and fan as a child. And you have this big hit going on called Freak Marbles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about that. You told me earlier you were not the inventor, but someone on your team came up with that idea, correct?
That's right. So normally I am kind of the inventor developer of everything at World Alive, but this was a special situation. I was actually on sick leave with pneumonia a couple of years ago, so COVID, and my designer said he had an idea that he wanted to talk to me about. And I said, I'm too sick. I just can't, talk to me in a few weeks. I've got a lot going on. I'm resting. And he said, it's just 5 minutes, Amy, just 5 minutes. And I opened his PDF with his visual and I just went like, wow. And I was like, I saw my life change and I was like, this needs some work, but like I can really see it as a format. So there's toys. And then there's formats of toys that can adapt to all sorts of different licenses and styles and themes. And I saw that we have a new format here, which is very hard because it feels like in the world of toys, it feels like everything's kind of invented.
Okay. All right.
So that's kind of the beginnings of the brand.
But what I really like about it, you took an evergreen, playing with marbles, and you gave it a whole nother twist. You made it. You made it come to life, their characters and their storyline. So we're going to play a commercial now.
Johnny, what do you do when an alien is angry? You give him space. Wait, it's challenge time.
Freaky freak marbles. Freak marbles. Let's go. Clash of the freaks.
Shoot and win. Roll faster. You can play many games. We're the Freak
Marbles. Every character has a unique power and skin. Collect them all. Find the rares and the rarest golden golem. Swap, mix, and hear the pop. Roll in the party with freak marbles.
All right. That commercial is fantastic. I'm kind of like, you're right. Everything's been invented before in the toy industry because that industry's been working with creative people forever. Mm-hmm. So you found something that's truly new. I've never seen this before. So let's start with the development of that idea. You saw a concept, you wanted to develop it further, but what did you know about marbles? How to manufacture marbles?
Yeah, so marbles, if you just take marbles as, they're like the oldest toy on earth, really. I mean, if you look back at Mayan ruins, Egyptian ruins, all around the world, small children have been buried with these tiny little marble balls. And so they've come, for, thousands of years. And they're on every culture and it's intergenerational. So grandparents, parents, kids. It's also like genderless. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. I played with marbles when I was a kid and I used to collect and play. And I had these that were called speckies and they had dots on them and there were, the cat's eyes and they had all different names. And so you would swap them as well as playing for them. And there were different games. So that's the essence of marble play is way back with that. But in modern marble play, because a lot of it's kind of like induced or driven by what kids see on the internet, it's more to do with racing. and kind of like these marble maze type products, because that's what makes a really cool video that people watch and comment on, and want to see who the winner is.
Was it hard to change the manufacturing of marbles for those different designs? Was that hard?
Yes, actually, the most complicated part of it was, how do you print something that's completely spherical and also very small? So digital printing exists, screen printing exists, it's an older technology. Digital printing exists to be able to print on different surfaces. But to be able to do fast, high volume digital printing on a spherical surface is really quite complicated. So we had to have machinery configured for that, especially to be able to make this product. So yeah, and then with the skins, I guess anyone who's watching has just seen the video, that's seen it. This is the super rare freak that nobody gets their hands on. It's 1 in every 96. So the skins, which are the part that go on the outside, that's just like a soft PVC, like many figurines and toys. But this part of the concept comes from kids that are on Roblox and Minecraft, and they're making their own skins and they're customizing their own skins. So it's something that they're used to in the digital world, that now you can do this in the physical world, and give it its characterization and change its characterization by swapping out the different marble faces. So it kind of like brings a lot of contemporary and evergreen concepts together.
I like that you can kind of change them up. Right, I like that aspect of it. How do you come up with new designs? Is it you or the team, or how do you do that?
It's a funny question. It's a bit of everything, because the designer has some cool ideas, but we get requests from clients. So we've done several. One that I can just have there. This one is for a retailer that has a snack brand, and they have a character of their own that's called Snack Maniac. So I'll just put its face in straight there. So that's Snack Maniac. So that's a special request. But we also had people, friends, for example, of mine. One of my friends was like, she just talks about her dog nonstop. And at one point she was like, could you make a freak marble of my dog? So she sent me photographs, and, in one of the future waves, there's a dog coming. And so it's just eclectic, whatever feels right, whatever's being requested and what's trendy at the time.
What's really interesting, you said this was an in-house designer at your company, but you also work with outside designers. Did I see that too, typically? How does that work?
So that's right. So when we first put Freak Marbles out, we received some contacts from people working in open innovation and having different ideas that were presented to us. And some of that has been incorporated in. So that's always like, you're an expert in licensing yourself. On the back end, there's different contracts that allow, the different innovations to be able to come through in different waves. And so as it stands, we have, the marbles with the skins themselves. We have a battle arena game, and we have some tracks.
Okay. I'm curious about launching the product. You at first was looking to license it. Is that correct? For better distribution. And what happened?
So, when we have a really good idea, so World Live is a small company, and we have a certain, let's say, category of product that we work within that's usually STEM. And this is a collectible, and it's a little bit different to our normal, the kind of distributors and retailers that we would normally work with. So we had to think out the box. So we've got this great idea. We don't necessarily have all of the contacts that we need to bring it together. And we have a limited platform and limited amount of financing. So the strategy that was worked on was, let's pick, the top 20 companies around the world that would do this really well, where we can just get it all prepared for them and give them almost like a turnkey opportunity where everything's designed, everything's ready to tool. We can support them with the marketing. We can still do the YouTube. We can, prepare everything behind it, and then let them use their really good platform to, also manufacture in big quantity, get the price down, and so on. So I did that. I reached out to a whole lot of companies. I did get into some pretty interesting negotiations at a high level. So we're talking that top tier, the top 5 companies that everybody knows,
Okay.
who were very interested, but it didn't come through. Okay, so and that's
Well,
just the way.
wait a minute. So you want to leverage the power of these other companies, and you get into all of them. They didn't see the magic.
They did. So I can't say who because everything that these kind of negotiations are always under an NDA.
Of course.
But one of those companies said to start a new brand, we need it to be $1 billion brand. So when we look at your product and we think it's fantastic and we love it, we have to not just love it, but to be able to say this can be $1 billion brand. And that's where we fell short because they looked at it and said, we think this is a multi-hundreds of $1 million brand, but not necessarily $1 billion brand. So, and then they referred us to another party that we negotiated with. And the end of that was it wasn't going to happen fast enough or on the right terms. And it would still meant a big investment for us. So at that point we said, okay, let's do it ourselves. So we toured up ourselves. Okay. And that's the way, sometimes you just have to muck in. If you want to get something going, there's always an opportunity in the future to flip it up to a larger company if they need to see your traction before they're willing to take it on. Right. So, and just, getting that in other industries, it's called the minimum viable product out there, and getting some traction is really important, and then it can be reevaluated.
Was that nerve-wracking to do it yourself?
At times it can be a little bit scary and nervous, but then I've also been in the industry for 20 years. Okay. So it's also, pitching is not new to me. Working with the top tier, I've sold products or developed products for, Moose, Spin Master, and Goliath before. Okay. And, so I wouldn't say it's nerve-wracking, but if you're coming to it from outside the industry, I'm sure that it would be pretty scary. Yes. But these are just, they're professionals, but they're just normal people. And it's hard to get hold of these people. Once you get hold of them, they're generally approachable. Okay. And especially at the top tier, they'll tell you where it's at. So one of the most annoying things is if you go to a trade fair and people come up and they say, it's great, quote me this, quote me that. And then you start to send all the quotes and you're doing all this work and people just ghost you. That is terrible.
So it happens to you? People ghost you?
It happens all the time. It's just an industry-wide thing. People have their communication. And I get to a point where I write to them and I say, listen, until you tell me no, my company policy is to continue following up with you weekly. And so I force them to tell me if they're going ahead, because we run a management system where we control our new business reach out, and until we're told no, we're not authorized. That's my decision as the company director, but I don't authorize my team to walk away from a deal until it's either a yes or a no. So once we do that, people tend to give an answer. But at the top tier, they'll tell you straight up, it's not going anywhere, or it's going somewhere until it's not, or it's gone somewhere.
I'm really glad you gave that tip, because sometimes they think it's me, I'm getting ghosted, but the follow-up is so important. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because sometimes I think we stop a little short because we think we're going to pester somebody.
Yeah.
But you really need an answer.
You have to not follow your personality trait. You have to just do it as a job. So, and I can tell you on more than one occasion, I have met somebody at a trade fair and continued to follow them up for 10 years until I got the first order. Right now, no, and I'm not joking. Okay, it was Spin Master. Okay, so whatever we talked about that first time didn't go ahead. And then I continued, not on a weekly basis, but let's say on a trimesterly basis, to touch base, to talk about what's new, to talk about seeing each other at another trade fair. And I did that for 10 years. And after 10 years in business, I did my first deal with Spin Master. Okay. So you have to be... Wow. Yeah, you have to have the gumption to just kind of keep going. And if they tell you no, and I don't want to have anything to do with you and I don't see any opportunities, then that's okay to walk away. But until then, it's your job, And it's also happened after a trade fair. This was with the Scandinavian client that I followed them up for a couple of years. So they were originally brought forward by a representative. The representative gave up some months later. I continued. And about 2 years later, they started ordering. So, and it happens. And then you do just have to take the opportunity to
Okay.
build relationships and not just think about it's an order, or it's
Thank
it's
you.
one deal. I need to get these people need to get to know me, and then what we can offer as a team, and you get to know them, and then over time, business becomes a whole lot easier because you'll be treated differently when you walk into the room. So yeah, relationships are super important.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Sometimes I think we're trying to rush the process, and it's really about relationships. Okay, when did you know you really had a hit here? I mean, do you trust your gut, or you did a little testing too? Was it like a very expensive type of testing, or what did you do to test to know you were right?
Okay, so there was different things. So I'm going to say first and foremost, when I saw the product the very first time, I went, I know this is a hit. I know, it's one of those gut feelings. And I knew that with my other brand, which is Aqua Dragons. The very first time I saw it, I went, this is something different. This is something special. Kids are going to get to hatch and grow, a tank full of these live little crustaceans that the eggs come in the packet. And, it's one of those classic things. So absolutely at the beginning, but then as time goes on, you fill that out with different partners. So you've got your sales reps or your distribution partners, your key retailers that you might be working with, and different people in the industry. And when they also see it too, that's really important. If you're getting wishy-washy feedback, you might need to continue to tweak something. And then also, it's not just the industry partners. It's definitely you need to work with the consumers. So in my case, I have 2 boys, which are also the target market for this product. And there's different birthday parties and things that happen at the school or, activities. And I would take a display unit of 24 pieces and I would give them out at a party. And I wouldn't say anything. I didn't give a presentation. I didn't tell them how to play. And I just, say, hey, you know what? We've come and we've got this. All the kids would get into it, unwrap them all, and then we'll see what happens. And if they get bored within a few minutes and kind of end up leaving them, then that's not good. But if they do, what has always happened with Freak Marbles is that, for example, when we were filming the TV spot that you just put on, the kids kept trying to steal the Freak Marbles. So we had this one set because they were prototypes, and we'd be like, there's something missing, and one kid would have it in his pocket, another kid had taken the other one, and they'd be playing it and playing, when they weren't being filmed, they would also continue playing. So when you see that kids are really interested, they're having fun, and at the end of the party, they've been there for 3 hours and they're still playing with the toy, you've got something that's really good.
That's amazing, isn't it? They're putting them in their pocket. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you have an in-house focus group too with your boys. That's
Yes.
that's kind of nice.
Oh, they're great. But we did end up, through one of our partners, also working with the formal market research, and 10 different product ranges were tested, and ours came out first in that test as well. And it's a similar thing. It's getting a group of kids,
Okay.
and they're supervised by psychologists who note down similar things like how long they play, whether they smile, whether it's frustrating for them, and essentially emit a report. So it's possible to do that. I would say it's not necessary to pay a market research company, especially if you're a startup. You can look for friends that have kids, birthday parties, Christmas events, just crash them and do your thing. And like I said, don't try and direct the children, just observe what they do.
So the last question, intellectual property protection.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Is it the characters? Is it manufacturing? I mean, what are you doing to protect this wonderful thing that you have?
Lots.
Can you? I mean, is it?
Yeah, lots, because in this industry, unfortunately, there are a lot of copycats.
Okay.
So let's take Freak Marbles as an example. It's an international trademark that's registered in dozens of countries. It's a patent on the format of the skin with the marble.
Nice.
It's also a design registry in the EU, and it's a worldwide copyright. Apart from that, there's domain names as well. So it becomes like a compendium of IP. It's quite an investment. If you want to do it properly, to do a product launch, you're talking, over $50,000. And you can do that in progressive steps. So I know that part of the inventRight training is that people will learn about all this. But you can start off with some small steps, like secure your trademark at least in one country. Try and get at least a provisional patent, things like that. And then as you go forward, you can build on it.
Expanding. Amy, fantastic story. Thank you so much for the tips and advice. I think they're amazing. And congratulations on having a hit product. I think it's going to be an evergreen. You came up with something truly new. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for inviting me. It's been wonderful to have a chat with you today.
Thank you.
Okay, you've got a great product idea and you're not quite sure what to do. Or maybe you've got inventory in your garage because you were selling your product on Amazon and you don't want to continue doing it, but you want someone to help you license your idea to a company to bring it to market for you. We have a new program that's called Gateway, where we do all the work for you. We'll find the right companies and the right people to make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. This new program is called Gateway. If you're interested, please check it out.